There it is.
There it is.
Okay. We're here. We made it.
Good.
No excuses today.
Good after morning.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Taco Tuesdays, where, we discuss all things health, good. So it's fitness, physical, emotional, mental, all the good stuff that comes in with health and what it means to be healthy, right? I'm Nick. I am a nutritionist, a personal trainer, a restorative movement specialist. And as always, I always have a huge passion for psychology and mental health and how it ties into the rest of our health. And Brandon?
I'm Brandon. You may not have way to nail that intro, Nick.
Winging it today.
Welcome, guys. Yeah, some of you might not know me if you haven't been in the group long. So I'm Brandon. I'm a physical therapist assistant, a coach and personal trainer, a fitness nutrition specialist. And yeah, I also have a passion for making permanent life change for people. And I guess that's what our talk is about today. So Nick didn't let me prepare, purposely did not want me to prepare for today. Yeah. So I'm not even sure exactly what's going on today. So you may be in for some surprises. I don't know.
So yeah, something like that. The first one being my hair. It's great.
Yeah.
But no, our goal with these lives typically is to provide, with high valuable stuff, things that work, things that you can do, put into action with your own lives, so that you get, that you can make some positive change. But today, we're kind of changing things up a little bit just for the day. Lately, we've had quite a few people ask us kind of about us, like what is it? Why is it that we're doing what we're doing? And so we thought, it might behoove us. I thought it might behoove us to really put ourselves out there and talk about why we're here. And so, like Brandon said, I'm surprising him a little bit with this one, but he had a good long weekend with his family, and that's important to me that he was able to enjoy that. So I put this one together. So, kind of just going to talk about why we're doing what we're doing. And so, Brandon, you're going to want to keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward. But basically, why this group exists. And, like I said, I don't know if today's live is going to help you or not, but my hope is that you'll hear us and you'll be motivated to make change. So I guess to start off
a little bit better, I guess. Yeah. And it's a chance. Sounds like it's a good opportunity to get to know us a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to start off, I see we've got a comment already. A couple people here.
Yeah.
But if you can hear us, give us a thumbs up. Drop a comment in the section. Let us know that you're out there and you're listening. But I'm going to get us rolling here with a little bit of my story. So I've got a lot of stuff happening, but so I've tried to condense it down into just a little bit. So even though, I don't personally suffer from weight, I do suffer with other things like mental and emotional stress and depression and all those things. But a lot of people close to me do struggle with those things paired with weight. My family and my friends and my mother being number one. And I think I've talked about this before. But so I saw a lot of this growing up. And I actually just brought this up to her the other day. But growing up, I saw her try every diet that came out. And they were always paired with stuff like Richard Simmons or Pilates, or I think Curves was a thing. And there was Weight Watchers and Atkins diet and this Manatech thing. I don't really know what that was. That was when I was really little, but I remember seeing the Manatech boxes. But it was anything from like calorie restrictions to now I think the most recent thing was a green smoothie diet. Right. And she tried all of these things to help lose weight and feel good about herself and like what she sees in the mirror, but none of them worked. They all promised results, and I've some of them actually gave it. right? For a short time. But it always came back. The weight always came back on. And more of it came back on usually. And now she's at the point where she doesn't really care that much. And she says, she'll excuse herself or make justifications like, oh, it's just the way that I'm built, or I'm old. Or the one that hits home for me is nothing works, so why should I keep trying? And she's not taking care of herself, and it scares the crap out of me. And so the point of this is, I grew up watching my mom try all sorts of these different things over and over, and she's dealing with the suffering for as long as I can remember, which probably means longer than I remember. She's wanted to lose weight, and she wants to fit into those clothes, and she wants to feel good about what she sees in the mirror rather than avoiding that mirror altogether. And out of all those diets she tried, all of them promising results, right? They would never stick. My mom was never able to keep that weight off. Even if she got the results, they'd come back. And after a long time, or for a long time, I believed this. And that was, what I believed is what she was saying. That's just the way that she's built, or whatever other justification that she can come up with. And why wouldn't I believe that, right? I saw her try and try and try, and nothing worked, not permanently. And so she believes that to this day, that it's just the way that she's built and that nothing will work. So she's bound to suffer. She will not feel good enough. She will not ever feel happy with herself. She has to suffer with that, right? Because that's the way she's built. That's not fucking true.
Right.
It's not true. It's not true. It's not true for her, and it's not true for you, and it's not true for anybody else. There's a reason why those things are called fad diets, because they come and they go, and they're like a bad fashion statement. They're cool to be on, and then they're not because they don't work. And it's all part of that yo-yo effect. You get on it, you do it, you get your results, then you get back off of it, and you gain it all back on. And none of them actually teach you anything. They all just say, like, don't eat anything enjoyable, restrict, or just sprinkle our fancy powder on there. Excuse me, I'm getting a little worked up, if you can tell. And then you can eat whatever you want, or just drink our freaking laxative teas and you'll be lighter. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
I actually, like I said earlier, I had a serious talk about this with my mom over the weekend, actually. And because she's at the point where she doesn't believe anything will work, she's not doing anything. She has literally stopped trying. And that scares the shit out of me. And maybe that's a little bit selfish, but I shared that if she doesn't do something soon, she's going to die earlier than I'm ready for her to die. And so that is why I'm passionate about what I do, because I know from my own battles what it's like to not feel like you're not good enough. And so I wanted to create a space for people to learn and to grow, and so that I could teach people what I already know, so that they can understand, what hasn't worked for you. You could understand what hasn't worked for you so far. You can discover a little bit about yourself. You can realize that emotion and feelings need to be nurtured for real, or any change to happen. And to keep it, so that you can, empower your own life and make changes that last permanently. And I've seen my mom suffer with those feelings, of not being good enough. And I don't want anybody else or their family members to suffer like that.
All right, Nick, I'm going to relieve you here. Do you have more to say? You got questions for me?
I do, yeah. Sorry.
Now, first, thanks. Like, I'm sure you didn't wake up this morning and you're like, yeah, I'm going to end up, getting really emotional on camera. We always try hard to avoid that. I had no idea that that's what you were going to talk about today. So I appreciate you doing that and being open and vulnerable like that. It's not easy to do.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to happen, to be honest.
We never do.
Yeah.
I'm
But
wondering,
it's still really fresh. Like I said, I just talked with my mom about this stuff. So it's still really fresh for me.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, what did you say?
Well, I was wondering if anyone can relate to that feeling that your mom expressed to you, of feeling like nothing works. It's hopeless. We've tried all these things and just keeps coming back. Yeah. Right? I'm sure, I know some of you guys can relate to that. I know it. And you're right. That's why we created this place. This is what it's for.
Yeah. Okay, let's change gears a little bit. So Brandon, so he already said I kind of sprung this one on him. And I told him not to worry because, like I said, I wanted him to have a good weekend. And I kind of had an idea of what I was going to talk about. So he didn't have any time to prepare. So he's kind of coming in blind. So I just came up with a few questions that I wanted to ask you that maybe could show a little insight into who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, fire away.
So kind of similar to that whole thing, you kind of are aware of what we're looking for. So if you feel like going off on a tangent, feel free.
Yeah, thanks.
So, I've heard you say this in the past. I don't know if you've ever said it live, but I know that you really don't like the industry that we're in. Tell me a little bit about that. I'm just going to leave it at that. Tell me why you don't like our industry.
All the things that you just said. I do. Yeah. So that's the truth. I do. I hate this industry, and it's because of the deception, the dishonesty, and I find it irresponsible and reckless to promise people things and set people up with these expectations that, that they can just do something for a short period of time and get these results. And then the people who've made those promises leave. They're gone. Right? And those people who are desperate. So I have two parents who have struggled with weight their entire lives as well. And I've seen both of them go through this and exactly what you described. And those companies or those, coaches, they come in, they make these promises, they beat the shit out of people, right? They make them do like ridiculously hard stuff in order to get those results. And then they're like, here are your results. I'm out of here. And they're gone. And then, like you said, that weight comes back. And it's not fair. It's not right. I really started getting into this in my time at the VA. So I ran the gym at the VA, and it's the only, I mean, we covered a massive area, so it's the only gym around and the only coach for a really large region. And so I would get these health and fitness consults daily, tons of them. And these are veterans. These are guys who knew how to exercise, who knew how to work hard. And I'd look at their charts, and it would be the same thing, like diet after diet, like tried this, tried this, tried this. And here I am on this weight loss team. And the standard advice always focused on like calorie restriction. You got to lose anything we can do to lose this weight. But none of it taught these guys how to actually live their lives. You're going to do this for a while, you're going to lose that weight, and then that's the success.
Yeah.
And I was totally hamstrung.
Yeah, have a good day.
Yeah. And it was like these guys, I was there for 5 years, and I watched some people lose 30 pounds, gain 30 pounds, lose 30 pounds, gain 40 pounds, lose 30 pounds, gain 60 pounds. And I was, after seeing that a couple of times, I'm going like, why is no one teaching these guys the habits they need to have in their daily lives instead of just this calorie restriction stuff? And I started doing the research, and I started really looking into it and looking at the trends and looking at, over time, what things correlate with the obesity trends in our country. We're exercising more, and that's the thing, right? Restrict your calories and exercise more.
Yeah,
We've been doing that since the 60s.
Yeah.
Obesity has done nothing but rise since the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why are we doing the same shit? Right? And you do, like your mom said, I'm seeing desperate people. These are guys who have lost limbs, that are walking around on prosthetic legs, and they're gaining a weight gain of 30 pounds or having that much extra pressure on a prosthetic limb is torture. It's horribly painful.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do anything about it. And it was like, what the hell? So I started studying it, and I started really figuring out what works for people and what's realistic, what we can really, really do. And I figured out that I couldn't do it where I was.
Right.
That there was
So you actually pulled the second question from me. So before you pull the third one from me, because you didn't even know I was going to ask about, because I knew you worked at the VA before. So that was on my next question. But before you pull the third one, and before you go too far, I'm actually interested in, does your family, because I know you are really tight with your family, and I was just curious, have you changed anything because of that family, like the way that you were doing things? And I think you were going to lead up into it, so I'll just let you continue.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've really figured out that if you don't make permanent changes to your lifestyle, right? You don't change how you live, then none of this stuff sticks. And that really became the focus, and yes, watching my mom do all of the diets, right? And yeah, I started going, permanent change doesn't come from impermanent action, from temporary action. And that's how I really kind of came around to doing things the way that I do, because I got to see it long term with my mom. It's like, Mom, these are I kind of took a systemized approach to it. You got to do this. Let's work on that. Okay. Now that you've got that down, let's try this and work on that. And we kind of went through sort of the basic, really, really basic stuff, but that we just don't take the time to teach people and really put into place and make routine for people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And my mom, she's in her 70s, and she's probably in better shape than she has been in a really long time. And she's staying on her feet. She's able to do the things that she loves to do. And now just doing those things and paying attention to those simple habits, those markers kind of, are the things that keep her there. She doesn't have to do anything outrageous, and she doesn't have to like make herself miserable with a diet. And so when I really saw it work, I was like, oh, this works.
Yeah.
This works, right? Like this is what I've been looking for. Like I kind of knew I just did what made sense. But when I saw it like really, really working with somebody that I was able to work with for a while, it's like, holy shit, this is what everyone needs.
Yeah. And so I don't want to take away from you again, but I'm going to a little bit.
Please.
Brandon and I, so why we're here together and in this group. Actually, Brandon, you tell this story pretty good, like how we connected and how we came to be here in this point.
Yeah. Well, we ended up in the same place, right? Our paths crossed. We had the same coach while we were kind of like learning how to run a business together, and or apart separately. We were in the same group, and out
of thousands of people, right?
Tons of people,
18,000 people. We ended up being, I don't know. I don't even know how it happened.
I don't even remember which of us kind of reached out first. And we were like, I just know that I had noticed that so everyone out there, I had noticed that Nick just kind of had a different take on things. I could tell that you were passionate about more than the business side of this. And yeah, we were there learning kind of how to structure things and how to move things, online and that type of thing. But, anytime you're in a business coaching situation, there's a lot of like, do this, promise this, present
push.
This way, push, right? Yeah. And it's business. It's about making money, right? If I'm being 100% transparent.
That's what I would say. 90% of the other people that were there, 100%. I want to know how to make $100,000 in a year. I want to know how to make $10,000 a month, right? I don't know.
And now I remember what stood out, right? Because what were all of when people would share, right? Hey, what successes did you have this week? And people were like, I sold this, I sold that, I sold that. Nick gets on and he's like, I had a client that had a major breakthrough. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I saw the light bulb come on. Everyone's like, yeah, but how much money did you make? And Nick's like, no, I helped someone. Like I got this person really got it. Those were your successes. And that was when I reached out to you, because I was like, that's the guy I want. That's the guy I want.
I remember. And honestly, all we did for almost a year actually was just like support and encourage each other, because we're both trying to do really difficult things. I don't know, Brandon, if you wanted to share what that was. I was trying to help people who suffered with depression because of my own struggles. And
I can do that. So you'll get another part of my story. So I'm an addict alcoholic. I was a musician and just part of that scene, and my life got out of control at one point. And health and wellness, fitness and exercise was a big part of my recovery. And so I decided that those were the people that I really wanted to help in the beginning. And so that was my niche. And those, so I was running a group strictly for people in recovery. Nick was over here. Nick, you were over there running a group for people with mental and emotional struggles. And so those things really overlapped.
Yeah. And what I kept finding was a lot of the things that was the struggle for people was the weight. And so like, as much of a passion I had for psychology and emotional and mental well-being, I also have this huge background in nutrition and fitness, and that's how I got myself through college. And so I just was like, Brendan and I were talking one day. I was like, dude, so if you can imagine, if you're out there and you can imagine a guy who suffers with depression hanging out with a bunch of people who also suffer from depression, it's real and it's very supportive, but it can also get really, really dark sometimes. It was hard. I imagine the same thing happened with Brandon, you know, like,
oh yeah.
I imagine that it's hard. So I reached out to him and I was like, dude, what can we do that's like exciting and fun, and we still get this encouragement and the fulfillment, and we can still help people in the way we want to help people? And here we are.
It was all about creating that positive environment. I think that's what both of us were really like kind of struggling with, was like spending a lot of time in the dark over here. And I feel like I'm helping people, but it was just really tough. And I was like, yeah. And it would, you know, it really just kind of perpetuates itself that way. And then it's like all people are talking about is negative stuff, and you're the only positive light sometimes. And I was like, let's create like the most positive space possible
for everybody.
Yeah, for everyone.
Which is freaking awesome. Anyway,
yeah.
So I think we've done a really good job. And the thing is that it's such a positive place that people still feel okay opening up about the hard things that they're struggling with.
Right.
It happened just a few days ago. I'm struggling. Do you have any advice? The whole that thing got lit up.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel so good. I honestly just sat there and I was like, this is exactly what.
This is literally it. Yeah. That's exactly what we were trying to build.
I'm getting a little teary-eyed again, but anyway, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And so your takeaways, pay attention to what we're talking about, because these are things that you can implement into your world and make permanent change. We're not just spouting this stuff out here.
Right. And that is the whole thing. It's about permanent change. That's what I want everyone to like really understand is, yeah, we're kind of the anti-diet in here. And I know it challenges some people. I do want to put that out there. Like, I know we've all come from things, you know, ideas, and maybe we've had some things that kind of worked, and we keep going back and forth with them. And I know we challenge some of those ideas, and I don't want anybody to ever feel like, you know, like we're attacking your thing. That is the one thing that's worked for you. But we do challenge those things. And that's hard. I mean, I challenge myself. I mean, sometimes you'll hear me come back and be like, hey, you know what? I researched something more and I found something that actually, you know, may have contradicted something that I've said in the past. But that I'll fully admit that kind of thing, because it's all about moving forward and following what.
Sometimes we contradict each other. I keep using my right hand, but it's over here. Yeah, we contradict each other, and then we just have a serious conversation about it. And usually the eyes are opened a little bit, and we can continue moving forward in the path that we want. And that means a lot to me. Yeah, absolutely. No, we're always teaching each other. I think that's the other part of this partnership that makes this really strong, is that we challenge each other, and we are constantly pushing each other to find the best way, the right thing, what actually works, what actually creates permanent change for people. Amanda asked a great question right here. Can you help us with ways we can make change? Absolutely. So that's the other thing I want you guys to know. One, you know, we're in here every week, and I hope you've seen some of our videos. We have a whole, if you look in the guides section of of the group here, you'll see all kinds of videos on all kinds of different topics, and we're pretty committed to providing free information. You may have really specific questions. We encourage you to ask those in the group. But we're also happy to have a conversation one-to-one with people. We like when people reach out to us. I actually like doing that. Yeah, Nick is really good about reaching out to people. That's kind of one of his roles here. And so, ask us. That's what we're here for. Seriously. Absolutely. That's 100% that.
But you guys keep doing what you're doing and lifting each other up.
I will say, so just to tack on another answer, yes, you can go back and look at those things for ways that you can make change. But this is something I encourage everybody to do, whether I'm working with them or not. I encourage, sit with yourself, sit with somebody else, sit with a professional, I don't care who you sit with. It can be all alone or with somebody else who knows what they're talking about. It doesn't matter. Sit and think for a little bit. What do I need to do to make this happen? Or first of all, maybe what you need to do is develop that vision. Where are you going to be in a year from now? Where do you want to be?
Yeah.
And then deconstruct it from the back. What did I do to get to that point? How did I get to that point? Just sitting with yourself and doing a little self-discovery is one of the most impactful things I have ever done in my own world.
And Nick will tell you to write it down.
Well, every time. Write everything down.
I like to say it out loud, which feels weird, but but I do. I like to, when I say it, that makes it real for me a lot of the time. So, you know, we kind of have different ways of putting those things back into our own brain, and reinforcing them. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you are looking for help, and maybe you've done that already, maybe you've sat down and thought about, what needs to actually change. Sometimes we know what needs to change, and we just, we need someone to sort of guide us through that. Or we need, there's a missing piece there, and that's okay. That's okay. That's where there's a lot of information out there. That's another reason why we did this. We wanted to put reliable information out there for people.
Yeah, big time.
Nick, we've been at this for a long time. We should probably.
Sorry. Okay, I did see some comments. I will reach out to you. I promise. I'll talk to you soon. Otherwise, Brandon, if you want to close this up because you're so good at it and I suck.
All right. Guys, what you guys do in this group is what makes this group amazing. Okay. That's Nick and I really envisioned having a group where people are supporting each other, and we're supporting people, and you guys have made it that way. So I really, really, appreciate it and want you guys to continue doing that. Reach out, ask the questions, share your successes, share your, not so successes.
Share your failures, because somebody else has already been there. Somebody else has already failed. Yes. They'll either know what to do or at least be able to share what worked for them.
Or, you're really asking a question that someone else is afraid to ask. I know, like, we've all heard that since like first grade, but ask that question because someone else really is wondering about it, and you're really helping them out by speaking up. Okay. All of us are dealing with a lot of the same things in here. And so please do ask those questions, and start that conversation. That's exactly what this is for. But do lift each other up. That's my favorite part about this place, is that people reach out with positivity, even if we don't have advice, just a little like, hey, you know what? You've got friends here. We love you. That's what this space is all about. All right. We're out of here. Nick, get us out of here. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll be a little more structured next week.
Maybe.
No, definitely. All right. Cheers.